Go again. Well, Luton Town are welcoming West Ham United as their first Premier League opponent of this new season to a new and improved Kenilworth Road, and trust us to be the first opponents to go there. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. Hope you will join me for the build-up show for Luton versus West Ham. We've had a hell of a busy day, and if you've watched all the shows up until now, if you're not sick of me, then, well, there's something wrong with you. But I hope you are all well. I've got a dream team of guests tonight, so that's why I've started on my own. Let's introduce them individually. First up, I haven't got any jokes to go with it. We're just going to go into it. I'm not that good. Mike, how are you?
Evening, good mate. You?
Glad to hear. Phil, long time no see.
I'm back again after a very long couple of hours.
Exactly. Since we've stopped talking about West Ham's non-existent transfer business, we're back now to talk about a game. It's just all a bit strange, and I've got no joke for you either, Gary. How are you?
I'm good, Jake. You?
Yeah, not bad.
Evening, chaps. Evening, Mike. Evening, Phil.
Evening, Gary. You're right.
Let's see who we've got in the chat. Good evening to everybody. I hope Moy starts Kudus, or at least puts him on the bench. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. To be fair, I didn't expect Moy to start Alvarez last week, and he started him down at Brighton. So Souček's unavailable for this game. Moyes has confirmed that. So maybe could there be room? Who knows?
I saw a picture of his away top in the dressing room, so that's indication.
Yeah.
Well, I think Moyes is typically cautious because Kudus scored a hat-trick in his last game, so he's probably not fit.
Yeah, exactly. So what we've got, a few fans are starting to pile into the stadium, and we've got the inevitable pictures of people's back garden. And somebody just put on Twitter, can't wait for Nicky's fan cams inside some random geezer's garden at full time. But yeah, it looks quirky. There's some new branding on the away end. Dominoes are on it, and there's literally West Ham queuing down the street to get into the stadium. It's a new experience for the experienced away following that are there tonight, and unreserved standing. When was the last time you boys have seen that on an away ticket? Because
unreserved standing. Oh my god!
Yeah,
get in there early and get beyond the goal.
Yeah, without sounding patronising, it's an amazing achievement what they've done, haven't they? The last 10 years. Unbelievable. They deserve all the credit in the world, and I hope they stay up. But after tonight, obviously.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about Luton. Mike, I'll start with you. An unknown quantity compared to what we've come up against so far. It will be a different challenge tonight, and I've got a feeling it's going to be let's dig in and really grind out a result tonight.
Yeah, I think it's all about keeping the noise down. They're going to be right up for it. It's their first Premier League game, and like Gary said, good on them. They've come up from the conference. I mean, I had to laugh at them the other day. The fans were singing, Chelsea fans, conference champions. You'll never be that. Joking aside, well done to them. And there's a bit of a West Ham connection with a few players. I don't think Fox is fit tonight. Reece Burke, there's a few. Yeah, I mean, there's a few. So, yeah. It's going to be a challenge, but like I said, I think it's all about keeping the crowd quiet for the first 20 minutes at least,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, Luton are going to be a side that are going to have to make Kenilworth Road a fortress this year. Otherwise, they will stand no chance of staying up, because I think they'll find it very difficult on the road to pick up points. Yeah. So, Phil, they've got to make Kenilworth Road a not nice place for teams to come.
Yeah, that's what you want when it's your home ground, and especially an old place like Kenilworth Road. It's that saying about having the 12th man, and that is the sort of place that's they'll get behind their players, and they're going to do that for the fans. So they're always going to be they always want to do that because they're going to get more points at home. When you've got big teams, obviously like us and all the top 6 teams as well, they're going to try and make it as hard as them. Make them feel a bit more under pressure because it's a narrower pitch as well.
Yeah.
But, we play teams like this before with, narrow grounds and, smaller teams. So as long as we don't give them too much respect, because, we're both 2 professional football clubs, both playing in the top competitive league. They're there on merit. So we just got to do a professional job against them.
Oh, we got to be lethal as well, and we got to take our chances in order to really stamp our quality on this game. Because as we said as we all said before we came on, Gav, if you look at these two sides on paper, there's only one winner here, and that's undeniable. But we've still got to stamp our quality and stamp our authority on this game. And yes, we're not going to, Moyes won't change his tactics today. He'll quite happily give Luton the ball, but when we do get the ball, we've got to make sure we're lethal with it.
Yeah, I think we're going to have more of the ball against Chelsea and Brighton, Jake.
Yeah.
I think they've got 25, 30%. So I'm sure we're going to have 50, 60%. But the thing I think Mike and Phil both touched on is the crowd. You remember last season, we were unfortunate enough to be Nottingham Forest's first home game.
Yeah.
And the noise that day was unbelievable from start to finish. And it's difficult to play against. So we're going to have to somehow keep the crowd quiet and just try to get a hold of the ball, knock it around. I think they're going to sit back and hit us on the break, just bomb it up to their big man, Morris up front. I think that's probably what's going to be their tactics, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a clash of similar tactics tonight. Two sides that are going to both want to sit back and potentially invite the pressure on and then catch on a quick counter. So, Mike, how do you think this sort of the complexion of this game changes tonight? Because we've got, because we faced Chelsea and Brighton, which were very happy for us to play the way we want to play, but we could have two sides locking heads trying to play the same way tonight. How's that going to work?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I mean, we should have more quality, really, and we should be able to play more football tonight. I mean, we sat back in that both those games, but we also had little spells when we got on top and we got a couple of goals up where we knocked the ball around really nicely. I mean, there was a few olays and everything going on at Brighton, as you know. And we are capable of that, and that's what we should be doing against, no disrespect to Luton at all. They've got to play their way, they've got to play. It's like us, when we play, your Chelseas and your Brightons, and we got to play the way we got to play. You got to try and set your team up to win a game of football, full stop. Yeah. We know how they're going to play. We just got to be a little bit more on the front foot. Yeah, we don't need to be, shoving players down the pitch. We can still sit in and play. And we should have the quality. We should have the quality to beat them down on the break again.
Now, we've got an early bit of team news that doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. Now, I'm going to ask you the question before I tell you what Moyes has done unofficially, because this is West Ham unofficial, of course. I can see Gary's probably looking at it now. I've seen it, and Gary's looking at it. So Gary, keep quiet. Mike, if you were Moyes tonight, would you bring Agurd back in, or would you keep Ogbonna there?
Difficult. Ogbonna's so steady, and you can rely on him. Against Luton, I'd probably kept him in.
Phil, keep Ogbonna or put Agurd back in?
That's a difficult one. Agurd's your first choice centre back, but Ogbonna played well last week, so I'd maybe keep Ogbonna in, but you're going to throw a curveball now, I bet.
Oh, I am, because we've heard, and Gary, would you be in agreement that we've heard that it's going to be Agurd?
Yeah, I've heard the same thing, mate. I've heard the same thing.
So, yeah, I agree with you too. If it was you, Gary, who would you be starting?
Well, again, I'm not trying to predict Luton's tactics, but it seems to me it'd be long balls pumped down the middle. So Ogbonna is better bet to me than Agüed. So personally, I'll play Ogbonna, but I'm not going to criticise David Moyes after winning a European trophy in 7 points, 3 games.
Yeah.
Who am I to comment?
And then
I remember before the European final when he bought Emerson instead of Cresswell. I thought, what are you doing?
The team I'm hearing is Areola, Soufal, Zuma, Agurd, Emerson, Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, Bowen, Benrahma, and Antonio. So Benrahma comes in for Souček because Souček can't start the game because of the issue he had last week. So Benrahma came on as the sub, and he maintains the place, rightly so, after his performance last week. And Kudus makes the bench, is what we're hearing. We'll get official confirmation of that in 5 minutes. But until then, relatively content, Mike?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I probably would have kept Ogbonna in, yes, but I mean, Agurd would normally be our first choice centre back, wouldn't he? So he's reverting back to his first choice. Benrahma obviously did very well when he came on last week, so he's had to keep his place. He had to keep the same team. Just feel for Ogbonna a bit. But let's face it, he's going to get plenty of games this year.
Yeah.
We're hopefully going to have an attack on all four fronts, and
Yeah.
the guy's going to get plenty of match time.
Yeah.
Interesting is Dino on the bench.
I don't know. I haven't seen a bench. People
Not
have
seen
said
it.
Kudus is on the bench. I haven't seen the bench.
No.
I've seen the predicted bench. Fabianski, Ogbonna, Kera, Fornals, Ings, Mubama, Cornet, Cresswell, Kudos.
So no Mavropanos.
No. This is a predicted bench.
Yeah. So maybe. Well, we've seen pictures. He's on the grass, as David Moyes says, because we've seen training pictures. So maybe just after the international break, will be just right time to bring him into the match day squad. We've got, of course, we've got Man City's our first game back, title decider on the 16th. So yeah, maybe he'll be involved in the match day squad for the first time. Then that's what that's what I'd assume. Look, the only thing I would have changed was starting Ogbonna. But will Ogbonna be particularly bothered? Of course, he wouldn't want to play, but he's 30, 35, and as Mike said, he's going to play a lot of football this year because one would assume, hopefully, we'd beat Lincoln, so we'd be through to the fourth round of the Carabao Cup. A couple of fortunate, Carabao Cup and FA Cup draws. All of a sudden, we've played 3 or 4 games together in those competitions. We've played 6 games in the Europa League. We've played all the games in the Premier League. The games are going to rack up, and all these players will inevitably be used at some point over the season.
Yeah, that's the important thing about having a big squad. So that's why it's good, we're not having a mass exodus of players going out. So it's as long as everyone keeps fit, and then we can easily rotate for obviously Europe, and if we do make it far in League Cup and the FA Cup, then that's good. And if we do get a couple more additions tonight or in January, that helps us out even more.
Yeah, and I can understand why people wanted Kudus to start tonight, but it'll be coming on when we're 3-0 up after an hour, just for a bit of just for a sort of settling in period. Let's take some of your comments. I tell you what, there's a lot of apprehension in the fan base, is what I'm sensing from both on Twitter and from the comments here as well. Finn says, bit worried about today. I reckon Luton will be up for it. We'll get a goal. Moyes will do his normal thing and we concede late and get a draw. Well, yeah, that's the question we asked, Peter. And I think we're all in agreement with Ogbonna, but let a Gerd prove us wrong tonight, because what he did against Chelsea, a top class centre half doesn't do, in my opinion. A top class centre half doesn't go lunging in and miss a ball on a yellow card. So we will see. Can he sort of redeem himself tonight at Kenilworth Road? We will find out. Good stuff. Ogbonna is 35. Yeah, I thought he was only 35. Yeah, he is 35. And he was still, very, very good last week against Brighton. So he's still got a lot to give Ogbonna. I've got no doubt about that. But overall, Phil, would you expect Moyes to drastically change the approach tonight because of the opposition, or do you think it'll be tried and tested as we've seen in the first 3 games?
Probably be tried and tested, really. But it's it's easy to say let's go and just do something different. Just go at them. Run with the ball, go forward, no messing about. But it'll probably just stick to what he normally does. Luton's going to suss us out with that, but they'll play the same as well. So it is, despite where we are in the league and where they are in the league, it is hard to say because, like we said, it's their first home game of the season. So it is hard to predict, and I can see why there is a bit of apprehension, with people in the chat, really, because I'm half apprehensive about that, because we can look into this game the same way Brighton looked into our game last week with this expectation. So we don't want to be complacent, but don't give them too much respect. I
agree. We are. The time is 7:00, which means the lineup is going to be out. So let's just confirm what we knew. It is Areola, Soufal, Zuma with the captain's armband again. Agurd comes back in after his 1-match suspension. Emerson on the left-hand side. It's a midfield 3 of Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, and Paquetá. Bowen on the right, Benrahma on the left, and Antonio down the middle. A subs bench that reads Fabianski, Kera, Cresswell, Ogbonna, Fornals, Cornet, Ings, Kudus, and Mubama. And just before I get our thoughts on that, Phil, I'll come back to you. We said earlier on we'd have a good indication of any players that potentially could leave if they weren't in the squad, and they are all there tonight. Cornet's there, Ings is there. So
Ben
as
Johnson's
reported, Ben Johnson's not. That's a very
Oh.
good point. That is a very good point. Southampton have been sniffing around today. We've heard, according to reports, that is a very good point, Gary. You have proved me wrong. I will bring that lineup up onto the screen just so you can have a little look at it. And there we go. Bowen's here. Look, I've got his shirt here, so I know. Mike, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what I thought it'd be. I'm not shocked that Allgaird's come back in. It's just that I would have kept Ogbonna in. Obviously, the Greek guy, you say his name much better than me. That's why I call him Dino.
Panos. I've been practicing.
Obviously, he's probably not fit, to be fair.
No.
I mean, Alvarez was a bit of a shock that he started last week. You know what Moyes is like. He usually takes 4 or 5 games for him to get into the team, so that's not a shock. But I mean, yeah, you can't really knock it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we'd have took 7 points.
Absolutely.
From those games, most definitely. Probably took 7 points from the first 4 or 5.
I'd have taken 7 points up to Sheffield United at the end of September, and that's 7 games.
Yeah, that's right. So we're ahead of where we're expecting to be. So maybe we should just go out there and play with that attitude.
Yeah.
Come on, it's a free hit. These guys, we should be beating them. We've got more quality. Let's get out there and play. Don't take it too lightly because, they'll be at us. If we make a mistake, they'll probably punish us. So, let's be on it. But come on, boys. Let's just have a reality check. We can, we can put ourselves back top of the league, but we didn't expect to be there. Full stop.
Let's not beat around the bush here, Gary. We don't want to be the first team that loses to Luton. We just don't want that on our shoulders. Final thoughts from that lineup, Gary?
As we said earlier, but off air, Jake, it's good enough to beat the Luton. I think the things we've got to play against are the crowd, the emotions of the Luton players, the referee. Also, don't make any stupid mistakes. Don't give any stupid dissents away, kicking the ball away, get some stupid red cards. Because that's going to make it very, very difficult. We've just got to play to keep the crowd quiet, play well, and we can take 3 points here if we play well, and that'll be a sign of a good team. 10 points after 4 games would be fantastic. I mean, this time last season, Jake, don't forget we'd lost the first 3. We're going to Villa, hanging on. So we're in a good position. I think the players are confident. They should be. So let's not get too overconfident, as Phil says, and then just take 3 points.
Yeah, very good. Peter, you must have about 15 screens going because you're watching me, you're watching the cricket. Bairstow must be cruising. And you're watching the under-21s as well. You've got some skill, Peter. You have got some skill. Right, let's have a little look at this Luton lineup, see what we're going to be coming up against today. Here it is then. So it's Kaminski in goal. It's Doherty, Reece Burke from West Ham, man. Anderson, Bell, Giles. That's marvellous. Nakamba, who used to play for Villa. Ross Barkley, of course. Chong, Captain Morris and Adebayo for them as well. I mean, we've heard of a couple of those names, but I'm not gonna press you boys too much about all of those players. But it's pretty much what we expected. Not too much that we're aware of, Mike.
No, that's right. We know a bit about Barkley, don't we? Obviously, know a bit about Reece Burke. I've seen this Adebayo. He's a big lad as well. They're going to pump it up to him, obviously. But funny enough, I watched the last game and they didn't really throw it up there that many times to him. So I was shocked. I thought there was, like the guy is massive, and the other guy, Morris, he's a decent size. I thought they would just throw it up a bit more, but they didn't. They did try to play a little bit of football. Chelsea were just too good for them, full stop. That defensively, they got ripped apart by Sterling. But hey, we know that nearly happened to us. So I mean,
Sterling, who's not good enough for England.
Yeah, exactly. But
Calvin Phillips is so.
Yeah. Don't want to go there, do we? Go flipping out. Joking aside, though, I mean, it's a team we should be on paper, but as we all know, it's played on grass, not paper.
It certainly is. Phil, I mean, their tactics could be quite obvious here if you were to look at that. Morris, Adebayo, 2 big blokes up front, and they're just going to hoof it up there. Or do you think they might surprise us?
They could surprise us, really. I think Adebayo, I can't remember if we was linked with him in January.
Well,
I think, yeah,
Kent
thought so.
Has recommended him a couple of times. They're a very good player.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can cut it in the Premier League this season. But I think it's easy to say, they can do, like a 4-4-2, or they'll just lump it up to the big man and, play off that. But, you've got players there with sort of a mixed match of, the skill and a bit of tenacity, and then you've got a bit of flair. That Chong who he was at Man United, Ross Barkley, he can perform when he was back in the day on his, when he was playing his best football. So sometimes we have that sort of not mismatch, but sort of players who they all got different styles and it all seems to work really well. That could go in their favour, but at the end of the day, they're not Premier League players.
Gary, how crucial do you think a player like Ross Barkley is in this side? A team coming up from the Championship, relatively inexperienced team in terms of Premier League football. How crucial do you think a experienced Premier League proven head of Ross Barkley is in that midfield?
I think it's very important to get some Premier League experience. I mean, two things I'd say. Over 46 games, they got promoted, plus the playoffs, obviously. And secondly, they're not going to lose every game in the Premier League this season. They're not going to end up with 0 points. They're going to win some games. They're going to draw some games. I think all four of us would accept they're going to struggle. They're going to be in the bottom 6 probably, but they're not going to end up with 0 points. So we've got to really fight for the game. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Jake, I recognise probably half the team at most. Yeah. The other players, I don't know what's about. If they get an early goal and the crowd behind them, it's going to be a difficult game. It really is. They're not going to lose every game. So we need to treat them with respect. And then, Ross Barkley's played for England, don't forget. He's not as old as people. Was he 28, 29, Barkley? He's not that old either. Yeah. So, he's a good player.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a very good and astute signing for them. Right, just before we return and give our final thoughts, does this give anybody a blast from the past? Look at that. Oh, yeah. Look at those turnstiles. That is inside the Luton Stadium. That's a picture the Luton Twitter admin has just put on Twitter.
Wow.
I bet it smells old as well.
Very good. Very, very good. Right then. Bairstow's 83 not out. He's on fire at Old Trafford, Bairstow. What's the score, Mike? I have a little look there. Come on, Cammy. Let's have a look. Put the glasses on.
All over there. 141 for 2.
Lovely. Thanks, Cammy. Bet the grass. Bet it does. I bet the away end's all grotty and horrible and cramped and it's not going to be a nice exotic place for away fans.
Those were the days, Mike, weren't they? Those were the days, Mike.
Oh yeah, I went to Luton away. I mean, years and years. I can't remember, so long ago. I'll tell you what it was when I went to Luton. I've been to Luton twice actually, and once when they had that plastic pitch.
Oh yeah, that's 86.
It would have been mid 80s sort of somewhere around there. Oh, flip it though. Yeah, it was a bit of an experience, mate. But there,
we just can't relate, Phil, can we, to these things? We just can't relate.
We stick to our bowls.
Exactly. They're gonna have an absolute dream, the Luton fans, when they come to our place. Lovely, massive, big concourse, all of this, and until they find out they're in the top tier, then they turn back and go home again. But right. Some final thoughts there. Now, what would you say to this team? Would you change the team talk? Would you change the tactics? Would you, Mike, if you were manager, would you mentally prepare this team for what they're going to face out there in terms of atmosphere and occasion, or would you just treat it like any other game?
Yeah, I think they've got to know what they're going to be facing, and I think they know, don't they, what they're going to be facing. Full stop. They won't need to be told too much. They should be playing with confidence. We've been a bit unlucky. We've had 3 away games out of these first 4 games. You know what I mean? And we've put in some decent performances away from home. To get a draw at Bournemouth, okay, it's a game that we should have probably gone on and won. But then to go and beat Brighton, that's 4 very good points. And even if we get a draw, I want us to win, and I think we will win. But even if we got a draw, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It'd be 5 points from 3 away games. That's a decent return. So I get them ready, and I just send them out and I say, look, lads, you know, we're playing well. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it going. Let's get out there, show a bit of quality, show them that we mean business. Keep the crowd quiet, get a goal early, and flipping, then keep going for them.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. Get a goal and keep going. Get a goal and finish the game.
It'd be nice to get an early goal and just keep the crowd quiet. But if you don't, then don't panic. Keep playing, lads, and we will get one.
Yeah. No, I agree. Oh my God, Sean's backing us. Jesus, we must be playing really, really bad team. Buckley's been awful for years. Yeah, he may have been awful at Chelsea or whatever, but I just think for this side, I think it's a wise purchase. And even from the dressing room as well, I think he's a talker, and I think he could be a viable asset to them this season. Both teams have the least amount of passes in the league, so God knows what game it'll be. Well, I can guarantee you'll sit there and watch it, Sean. So, Are you still on holiday, Sean? Where are you still in the Dominican Republic? You'll find a way to watch it, Sean. You love watching West Ham, don't you? You absolutely love it. Right, a question for you because I haven't got a clue. Who remembers the old donkey hot dogs at the bowling ground?
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go, Phil. You're just like laughing at the expression. Phil, you've never heard of them like me, have you?
I'm assuming it's donkey meat in the hot dogs.
It tasted like it.
Very good. Paqueta goal and booking double. No comment. No comment. Right then, let's move on to some predictions. Who wants to go first? Shout it out. Come on.
I'll go first then if you want, mate. As I'm at the top there. Yeah. I think we'll win 2-1.
Okay, right. I'm going to go last so I can shout at somebody for nicking my prediction because somebody will. Gary, you can go next.
In the prediction league, Jay, I've done 2-1. I think Bowen is on fire at the moment, literally, as the song says. I mean, his goal last week, no one's made enough of that. That was such a fantastic finish.
Honestly,
brilliant
being
goal.
Stood 30 yards straight in line with it was beautiful.
I mean, it's only me and Mike that have ever done that before Bowen. It was such a great touch in the finish. It was a beautiful goal. And even the one against Bournemouth the last weekend, that was a great goal as well. So
yeah,
with him on the form he's in, he looks really confident. He's obviously in a happy place personally, so I think he's going to score again tonight and we're going to win 2-1.
Very good. No, it's not my prediction yet. Phil, it's all down to you, your prediction.
I'm going to go for a third consecutive 3-1 in a row. Might as well go for it.
I've gone and I'll back what I did in the prediction league because I'm not doing too bad in that. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm above Dad, Gary. Come on. I've gone for 1-0 West Ham on the prediction league, and that's what I'm going to stick with on here. I don't think it's going to be pretty at all, to be honest with you. I think I don't think we'll concede, but I think we'll grind out a quite ugly first half, and then about on the hour mark, I think we'll score from a set piece, and we'll manage to see the game out, maybe a bit of squeaky bum time towards the end, and we see out a very hard-fought win to rock up and stroll into Saturday top of the league. and hope Fulham get a point off of City to keep us top of the league.
Yeah.
Fulham.
On the 16th, we turn up at London Stadium, the 2 European champions in the top 2 places.
Yeah. I tell you what, football's not played on paper, but if anybody looked at that and who's never watched football thinking, flipping, that game's going to be amazing. They both won a European trophy last year. They're first and second in the league. This is going to be the best game of the season.
It could still very well be.
Yeah, we could win with 10% of possession. Yeah,
exactly. We could have 3 passes in the first half and still win the game. But yeah, all good. Right, any final thoughts before we go, chaps?
No, let's just get out there and do it, boys. Let's get this result. Then we can have a nice little break, can't we? They can put their feet up. Yeah, stuff them players that didn't, stuff Gareth Southgate and the players that didn't get picked can put their feet up and have a rest.
Yeah,
that's right.
Agree. Phil, final thoughts?
Let's just do it. Let's take the hats off the hatters.
You thought of that all day, haven't you?
We'll use our hammers, get the hats off, and then let's get 10 points. We'll have a nice little relax before the City game. You can argue that is sort of a bit of a free hit because of who they are, but get as many points as we possibly can. That's always going to be good. So then we don't have to worry, and we don't want any more negativity for this season. We want it to be all positive.
Let's hope so. Well, to be fair, Phil, there's no free hit for James Ward-Prowse. Thank you. I'm here all week. Gary, as you speak sense as ever, finish off the show with your final.
No,
thought.
I just want to say, probably the first time in probably 18 months, I'm enjoying watching West Ham again because it got.
I can't wait to watch this tonight. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know you three felt, but times last season I thought, oh Jesus Christ, this is going to be. You know, you could tell what the foot lineup was going to be. You can tell what tactics is going to be. You think we lose 1-0. It's got to be a real grind, but now I'm really enjoying it. The team have got smiles on their faces. The fans have got smiles on their faces. So, you know, good luck. If we play that all season, I'll be happy. That'll be really good.
As long as we keep winning the games, that's what I'll say.
Well, we're not going to win every game, but it's good that we at least look like we can.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Right, we'll leave it there. We will see you on the full-time whistle, where I believe last time we were top of the league, Mike, apart from the Brighton game. You were on here with me. We beat Leicester 4-1. We're saying we are top of the league. Let's rinse and repeat a full-time. I will join you. I don't know who with, but I will join you on the full-time whistle to hopefully discuss another West Ham win and to cement our spot at the top of the league. I don't know why I tried to say that, but yeah. I've done 3 shows today. I'll be back at full-time for my 4th, and I can guarantee you it will be my final. But until then, from me, Gary, Phil, and Mike, thank you very much, boys. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, Irons.
And we'll see you soon. Thank you very much, and let's beat them Hatters. See you soon. Bye-bye.